yes, one of the most important choices you could ever make for yourself to find success in every single area of your life and to excel in times of change and to live the most amazing, fulfilling life. And what is that choice that you can make for yourself? Let's talk about it. I'm Lenny Wennerstrom, and I am here to help you find your purpose. And one of the tools that I use is Dr. Shad Helmstedter's book, 365 Days of Positive Self-Talk for Finding Your Purpose. I love this book. I hope you love it. Look how much it's been loved by us since mid-November of 23. Now we're getting towards the end of the year of 24, moving into 25. What will we do for 25? I got some fun ideas. But for now, November 24th, day 329 of the year, 37 days left in 2024, and we are 89.89% complete with the year. We are rolling on down the highway. So here's your choice. The choice, one of the most important choices I make is the choice not to, what is it? What is it? Drum roll, please. Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea? What's the choice that you choose not to make? To be in fear. Fear is the word. One of the most important choices I make is the choice not to fear. Instead of being fearful, hesitant, self-doubting, or uncertain, I choose to be confident, determined, self-assured, and unafraid. I know that strength is a state of mind, and I choose to be strong. We're going to turn this around. One of the most important choices you make is the choice not to fear. Instead of being fearful, hesitant, self-doubting, or uncertain, you choose to be confident, determined, self-assured, and unafraid. You know that strength is a state of mind, and you choose to be strong. Fear. Fear is a very, very low frequency. I think if you look at David Hawkins' emotional, what's the frequency of emotions or something like that chart. I think shame is the very lowest, but fear I think is the fourth or something. I don't remember exactly, but it's pretty darn low. And it is very easy to shame someone who is living in fear. And so who is vibrating at that level of fear. So you think about our society. For most of us, we see it, it's just the way we have to be. Yet if you look at it, it's a very fear-based society. And those who rule with, and like the media, sorry, I've got this, I'm wearing my same thing that my sister gave me, and little fluffy things come off of it and they fly around. It's so soft. I love it. But this fear, it's a huge motivator because people can have you do something that is against what you really want to do because you're in fear. Like fear, a motivator, think about paying your taxes. If you don't pay your taxes, you go to jail or you get audited or it's not pleasant. It's pay your taxes and so out of fear, a lot of people pay their taxes. You could choose to shift your perspective and say, I chose all of this. Now let's come from the spiritual realm. I'm talking about this living on planet Earth and that state of fear and being motivated by fear. But think about taxes from a spiritual level. So just to give it both sides from what I teach, practical spirituality, which is the spiritual journey and the human experience. So the human experience, you have to pay your taxes or you go to jail or you get fined or you get audited, and it takes all your time and energy and money and all of that stuff. It's not pleasant. There's no pleasant end to that if you do not pay your taxes. And then you have now let's go to the spiritual. And the spiritual is, if you believe as I do that you chose all of it, you chose this whole experience, the time, the space, the place, you chose it all. If you have chosen it all, how could it possibly be wrong? And what an honor and a privilege to be here knowing that you are going to have to pay taxes. And what an honor and a privilege to know how powerful you are, that you know that you can set a goal, you can change your programs about money, you know that you can make absolutely as much money or as little money as you want just by setting goals and bringing from the invisible, like all of that, bringing it into the visible, because you are the one designing, creating, and driving your own boat. You are designing your life. You are creating your own reality. What, yeah? What, Feather? Might have a visitor. Might not be a person. It might be a deer or a bear. I don't think there's no more bear. No bear came yesterday that I could see. I didn't see any more scat, any more bear poop. So that's good. I shoveled it all away. Hopefully that helped. Um, and so this whole thing about, like if you choose it, then how could it possibly be wrong? And it's like, man, if I can make this much money and I have to pay whatever percentage, 20, 30, 40, whatever percentage in taxes, you know, you can make way more than that. You can always make what you want and know that you're going to have to make, 20, 30, 40% more in order to make what you want. And I got this. I'm the one moving the energy. And so it's real interesting, the perspective, the shift, because no matter what it is, coming from the spiritual, everything is a message to me for positive change. And that means that the energy, the things that happened are lessons. And as one of my spiritual mentors, um, Landria Anka, she said that say yes. And I mean, and she long ago, I think it was the Master Key system that I can't remember that yes, but it was this when she brought that up again, and she's always said that, um, that to say yes to the experiences and everything. It was just like this one when things were happening with Steve and he wasn't doing real well, and a lot of things were happening, and she sent out something that a video, and to those of us in her membership, and it was about saying yes, like say yes to the experience, to say yes. It's not yes um, to bad things happening. It's yes to whatever's happening. You find the positive, like taxes. It's like, oh my God, I have to pay all this in taxes. And guess what I had to do before all of this stuff? There were, had to pay taxes. And it's a shift in how are you thinking about it? Is it just like this horrible thing, and or is it say yes to the experience, and then yes to knowing that you're the one that changes your programs. Come here, puppy. Yeah, this is Happy Beans. If you don't know Happy Beans, look at her. Oh, with her little 60s haircut. She kind of looks like a Muppet. She looks like a llama. She looks like a little polar bear. She looks like all kinds of stuff. But my point is, spiritually, it's an experience. All of it's an experience. On planet Earth, it could be perceived as something not a whole lot of fun, and motivated by fear. You're motivated by fear to pay those taxes, rather than motivation to just say yes, that this is, I came here, I chose it all, and it's just part of it, and not feel angry or upset or pushed against the wall or any of those kinds of things, because that it is, this society is and I'm talking about the United States, but for the most part, any Western type country, Western type, but it's motivated by fear. There's a lot of, if you don't do this, then that. I mean, a lot of advertising is based on fear. That if you don't, use this product or something, then you won't get the guy, or if you don't do this, you won't get the girl. If you don't, take these courses or something, you won't get to do whatever it is you want. So you take, say, calculus or something that you really don't want to take, and you don't do very good, and you resent it, rather than, I got it, I can take it, I can do this. And all of this comes from self-talk, meaning your self-talk is what defines how you look at things, and whether you're going to be motivated by fear or shame or any other low frequency. And so what I love about Shad Helmstedter's this passage today is the choice to live unafraid, the choice to not choose fear, the choice to not be motivated by fear, the choice to move yourself, to be confident and determined, and certain and and certain by, oh pardon, by having your purpose and knowing what your purpose is. By ask yourself, like, what is your purpose? Why are you here? And I'm not talking about, again, because we talk about this all the time, because this whole channel is devoted to finding your purpose with all the other stuff that we add in here, right? But What is your purpose? Why are you here? And I'm not talking about being a mother or a father, or taking care of a sibling, or you're a chef, or you're whatever it is that you are. You're a fireman or a policewoman or a, whatever it is. Those are those are roles that you play, and they definitely are purposes here that you have chosen for yourself here on planet Earth. But what is that overarching, that one? You're not like, ahoy, where's my purpose? Ahoy, I know you got to be hiding behind the tree over there. Purpose, come on out, show yourself. It's not that. this, I don't know why they just hair falls out. I don't know. Anyway, she just hair falls out and it gets in my nose, and I'm not sure why, because that's kind of new. So it's got to be something I've got to figure out. They eat raw, so maybe there's a lack of fat, which I can't imagine because they get a lot of fat. Our brains are 70% fat, so we need a lot of fat, good fat. I'm not talking about PUFAs and all that. Anyway, I digress. So when we come from a place of love, confidence, we come from being unafraid. We are not on that scale of David Hawkins of fear, shame. I can't even think what the other things are right now, but that scale, and you go all the way to, I think, acceptance, love. Love isn't even like the highest, I think, on a scale. It doesn't really matter. The point is, to me, acceptance is love. When you say yes, when we talk about saying yes, right? Say yes to the experience, have an open heart, and know that everything is going to be exactly the way it was supposed to, and not come from a place of fear. Come from a place of purpose, of knowing what your purpose is. Really, really searching for, why are you here? And I can tell you right now, if you enjoy things that I say and you listen on this channel, if you're on it and you share it, and because it means something to you, you tell others about it because it meant something, or you walk away from listening to one of my videos or something feeling better and uplifted, or getting a golden nugget that can help you move yourself forward, then you are service to others. You are not about service to self. So your purpose is, you could say there are a lot of purposes. Your purpose is to love yourself unconditionally. Your purpose is to get to the end of your journey on planet Earth and live fully. And your purpose is to help others and encourage others. And I really believe that our purpose all has to do with helping others. And so no matter what you do, if you help others, then if you're in service to others, you're going to have a much more wonderful life, because then you're going to feel that goodness. And I say, if you are listening, watching the things on my channel, because it feels good to you, because you resonate, maybe not with everything, but you resonate with the basic premise of, you have the ability to change your programs, neuroplasticity. So science is important to you, or maybe it's not, but you believe it could be true. And spirituality is important to you, and you believe there's a higher power, and you believe in manifestation, and you believe that, or if you don't, at least you have the science of neuroplasticity to help you to see that you can change. You can change your programs. You can change who you are. You can change your habits. Oh my gosh, Bruce, can you ever change your habits? Your habits are just programs. And you think about a belief, you can change your beliefs, that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, that you will never have enough money, you will never find the right job or find the right person to love. Those are all programs, and they have become beliefs. Based on your programs that you're running, those have become beliefs. And then your attitude is also because of that. And then your behaviors, your emotions around that reflect that. And then your behaviors, your actions are all around that, which then base your outcome. That's how that whole thing goes down, of that whole chain of events. And so if you change your programs, then your beliefs change to where you are worthy, your self-esteem, you have more self-esteem and confidence and all of that. And so Dr. Shad's, his language that he created is so powerful, Because it's neuroplasticity, meaning your brain is constantly rewiring itself. New neurons, new neural pathways are being formed when you decide that you're going to set a goal and you're going to achieve it. And you continually do that as a habit. It's like, and that becomes part of the way you live by setting goals, bringing from the invisible into the visible, as I call it, a spiritual practice, because you are moving from the invisible into the visible. And and the more you do that, the higher your confidence grows, the higher your self-esteem, well, your self-esteem, then your self-confidence and your self-worth, because you're doing something and you're finding success on planet Earth. And so all of that, you're spiraling up. You're spiraling up rather than spiraling down by saying, I'm not worthy, I can't do it, I'll never have enough, I'm not good enough, my whole family has never been good at this, so I'm not. I never remember birthdays. I'm clumsy. I'll never be able to do. I mean, those are all programs. Those are all beliefs that someone has said, and it was wrong in the beginning, or you picked it up from somewhere, and then it was repeated. Could have been the media, could have been a parent, could have been a teacher, could have been a peer, could have been a bully at school. Who knows? But it was repeated, and pretty soon you took it into your own brain, and you made it about you. You made it truth. But it wasn't true when you first heard it, that you weren't good enough or you would never amount to anything. It was not true at that time, because you were born with unlimited promise and potential. But then it was recorded, then repeated. One of the rules of neuroplasticity is repetition. It's the most important one for almost everything. I mean, obviously, if there's a traumatic event, it definitely creates a or something really intense with a lot of emotion. It doesn't have to be traumatic. It could be actually something really fantabulous on the other side of the scale. So, or the other side of the stick is all, pro, con, or good, bad, or evil, good, or whatever you want to say. And then in the middle, there's that neutrality, but it's all just a different side of the same stick. And so that could create, that could change your neural pathway so that your brain says, oh, you better remember this, because you don't want to repeat this, or this is good, so you want to do this more often. And but I'm talking about just that repetition of that you're not good enough, you'll never amount to anything, you're not good, like you don't have a musical bone in your body, so why bother? So then you never did what you really wanted to do, to play flute or do something, because you were discouraged by someone who had influence over you, maybe a music teacher, maybe a peer, maybe somebody made fun of you or said, oh, playing the flute, you'd look like an idiot, and you really like that person, and you're like, I don't want to look like an idiot. It wasn't true that you would look like an idiot if you were playing the flute, but in your mind it was like, that's influence. And I mean, and so I don't want to look like an idiot, so then you just don't do something. And then in your mind you think every time about the flute, like, I would just look like an idiot if I played it, and then pretty soon that becomes your truth. And this is how you create your own reality. This is why I love this Dr. Shad Helmstetter's language of self-talk, the positive self-talk, because it's repetition of core specific directions that are very foundational of self-esteem, and the how to live a quality life, to create the life that you want to create. And it's all based on science. So, hey, you, Charlie, what did you see, my little preacher? Here's Charlie. I don't think you've ever seen Charlie. Charlie the cat. He doesn't come around very often. What it is? Isn't he beautiful? Hey, Charlie. Nice Charlie Barty. Hey, you. Okay, there he goes. Whee! More hair. Now that cat has hair. It's not. So I hope this is that this makes sense for you, because when you come from fear, you're vibrating at a very low frequency, and you're vibrating where all those things exist. Like, if you're fearful, think about how you feel. I know sometimes if like if I thought there was a bear or something and it's dark, and I don't have I don't have anyone here to help me anymore. Like Steve's not here anymore. Um, then but Lynette's here a lot. But still, there's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And there's like just this fear can go over me if I hear a big thump in the night or something. It's like, well, what is that? And and it's interesting that to go into that 3D mode, and it's like instantly I know flood myself with that compassion energy, and decide I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to look, and I'm going to see what it is, and see, what that thunk was or whatever. And that way I'm going to be able to sleep. I'll go back to sleep, and I'm not going to hide or come from a place of fear. And and it's a choice. It's a choice to not live in fear, because then I'm operating from like I'm stumbling around. I know this because in my past, just how I operated on something like that, or fear of losing a job. Man, fear of losing a client, not a client in what I do now, but when in commercial real estate, one of the things, it's like losing one of our huge owners that had a lot of buildings or something, and the money was just going to go away, like huge, huge, when the building sold, or whatever it was, or they chose another management company or something. And the things that I would like think to do, not begging, but like, how can I stay in front? How can I, like, just coming from like panic, like, oh my gosh, because it was going to be so painful, on planet Earth. And then you're coming from like, I was so closed-minded that I couldn't see. I remember with one time, and Steve, it was so Steve. This is the one of the things that Steve, my hubby, so amazing. He never every nothing really it, took him to that level. He just saw everything very rational, very logical, and he said, I'm going to worry about something I can do something about. I can do something about it. If I can do something about it, I'm going to worry about things that I can do something about. And and meaning he was going to problem solve. But if he couldn't do anything about it, he wasn't going to waste the energy. He was just going to allow it to happen. And that's how he lived. And I learned a lot through that. I learned a lot how to live without fear, because and it was spiritual teaching at a very 3D place in my life. Because it wasn't that he didn't care, it wasn't that he didn't think, man, this is going to be really uncomfortable, but he started writing out solutions, like what could be done, and what's the worst that could happen, and what can we do to counter, like what other buildings can we get, what do we need to scale back with the size of the company, like what is it that we can do so that we can still be viable and move ourselves forward. And he would just, with a very calm, and I asked him many, many times, like, did you not even get scared? And he's like, well, I mean, it wasn't comfortable, but there's always an answer. You just have it you it's you just need to find the solution, the right one. That was just like, I admire him, like, from the depths of my 3D heart for that, and the spiritual, because I really learned to come from a place of, I can figure this out. These are the solutions, and write out the solutions. And then when Dr. Shad Helmstetter came along, and the three, the self talk, the positive self talk, that helped me to actually get there, because it helped me to rewire my brain, rather than thinking, okay, now I know there's solutions, but still that panic inside of me of, like, the lack, being on planet 3D, the 3D world, planet Earth. Um, all of a sudden, now that hardly even exists. It doesn't mean that I'm, a bear with a big thing. Planet Earth can be a very dangerous place for the human body, for the vehicle that we've chosen, and that's getting hot. And but yet, when I'm going on and on. Wow, I just, this whole thing of fear, when we move away from fear and choose not to indulge in fear and not vibrate at that low frequency, and especially when it goes even lower, and all of a sudden there's shame. There's shame because you did something that society said you should never do. And then you see it as a negative, and you see it as something shameful. And then you walk around with your head hanging down, and you don't know how to look people in the eye, and all this kind of stuff. And guess what? That's all here. It's all in your head. It all exists right here. This is why you create your own reality. And this is why when you use the app, the the positive self-talk app, it's a whole different story because it rewires your brain. It rewires your brain for high self-esteem, for not having any problem earning exactly the amount of money that you want to earn. No shame in it, no embarrassment that you came from poor, and all your siblings or your cousins or other people, your friends, will look at you as though, oh, now she's acting rich or he's acting rich, and they look down on you. It's like it's just like, okay, thank you for your opinion. And you go on about your business because you have high self-esteem and you can do it. There's a whole big difference when you come from no fear. So I hope that's helpful. I probably went round and round, but it's just, if you can come from a place of choosing not to fear, then that will be really, really humongous for you. It looks like my book is burning, huh? I'm burning books. I've never burned this book. Shad, I would never burn your book, I promise. I love this book. Anyway, it's not burning. It just looks really cool like it is. That's an effect. So anyway, I hope that you will take from this that that when you are living from a place of fear, the options, things close. The heart closes. Like, it really doesn't close, it's always open, but you think it is because you're coming from your head. You're not coming from your heart, because your heart knows that everything is just fine. Your soul knows it's all just experiences, and you're here just to actively participate in your life. And yes, are some of those things scary? You could lose your job, you could do this, you could do that. Yeah, heck yeah. Yet you're the one driving the bus. I was gonna the boat, the bus and the boat. You are the one in control. You've got the rudder. You're the one pointing it strictly, like totally steering towards your purpose, so that you have that direction and meaning in your life. You know what is important to you, and you choose. I'm not going to have fear. I'm going to be determined, and I'm going to make this happen for myself. And if I don't have the tools right now, I'm going to get the self-talk app, and I'm going to start rewiring my brain because I know that I can. So it's kind of where I started with this, is that if you're on this channel, you definitely have a belief in science or in spirituality or in both of them. And that the spiritual journey is important to you, and the human experience is important to you. And to combine the two of them brings wholeness, right? Because you are whole. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. That's from the Master Key System. And truly, that's a book, and I'd get it if I were you. Just it's so good and powerful. Um, but it's but all of this is, when you come from love, then there's no place for fear. And when you come from everything is a message to me for positive change, and whatever is around the corner is highest and best for you, again, the fear dissipates. Fear is, again, it's a very, very strong motivator. And um and and it's and it's not one that brings, when there's fear, there's also other emotions around it, like resentment, anger, frustration, unhappiness, low frequency, that they don't feel good. Because why? Because then the person feeling them is in a state of lack, and not in understanding what an abundant universe we live in, and that we get to create our own realities. So that's the story. Doesn't mean things don't happen to you. My hubby decided to go on to bigger and better things. It was his exit time on planet Earth. And is that easy for me? Is that, you know, is it something that I would have chosen? Me, Lenny, me, earthly Lenny? No, no, I would not have. I very much love my husband. And so, yet that was his choice, and I honor that. I honored his choice the entire time he was, going through everything that he went through, and that we all went through. So, and now I get to do, I am, it's such an opportunity to rediscover who Lenny is. Lenny on her own, without Steve, without a partner, without that backstop, without that stability, in many ways. Just that, whether the financial, the mostly the just knowing that I had a partner that loved doing stuff like RVing and the other things, and just knowing he was here when I get home or any of that, it's like now it's that no longer is there. It just went from having it to not having it. And so on planet Earth. So the whole thing is now there's an opportunity. I could be just not do anything anymore. I could be very upset. I could grieve for years and years. I did that with my mother, and she was my bestest friend in the world next to Steve. I should say both of them were my bestest friend. But it's when you lose your best friend, look at me using my words. Um, because you don't lose anything. You gain, and you look at it from a different perspective. Now I've gained an opportunity to rediscover who Linny is and what Linny really wants with her life, and move myself in that direction with no other distractions, call it distractions, but just really focused on what I want. And I get to focus on who am I really and what do I really want, and I get to do that, and that is an honor and a privilege, and definitely an opportunity. And I grab that fully. And I hear my baby, my Steve, I hear him saying, "Do it, Lenny. Like do whatever you want." I hear him all the time, even when my sister and Lynette and they're moving the clothes, his clothes out. And he was like, and he's so practical, and so and I heard him telling me, "Let it go. I'm not going to need those anymore. I don't need them. Let it go. You take the space for your clothes." And and give that to people that can use it. And he's just so practical that way. And so really, when you're coming from a place of looking for the opportunities rather than feeling the fear, you just become a whole different peeperoo. You have more confidence in all of that. And that self-talk app, it's not the app, but it's a self-talk language that is the key. I mean, you could do Joe Dispenza. You can look at Bruce Lipton. It doesn't matter who you want to practice neuroplasticity and learn it from and do their different, Dr. Doty, anyone, any neuroplasticity, any neurosurgeon or ones who really go into the quantum, or understand the power of neuroplasticity in the brain, any of them, and do it whatever the way they want, or the way they say this is how it works. You can write it down, you can think it, you can write it down, you can say it over and over and over for days and days and days, and you'll get there. You'll create new neural pathways. Well, that's a lot of work, because I've done that. And it just doesn't. You have to be very, very intentional, and it's a lot of work. So my suggestion, what's very, very easy and works, definitely proven over and over and over and over again to work, is rewiring your brain using Dr. Shad Helmstedter's self-talk language that he created, which is to help you raise your self-esteem, self-confidence, to create the financial success that you want to have in your life, and to create the relationships and the professional and personal and professional for women, from 0 to 7 children, infants to children. That self-talk for them, for their self-esteem, self-confidence, and taking responsibility for their lives from 0 to 7. Imagine how many of us, if we had those programs that were so strong, we wouldn't get we would have never gotten bullied. We would have never, like, all these things that would have just bounced off us, because we would have not even known that somebody like flung an arrow at us. We'd be like, what? Oh, okay, thanks. Thank you for your opinion, and go on about our business. Lynette is like that. People would, they'd want her to play or do something, and she'd say, no, I'd rather play by myself. And it didn't matter what they said to her. She was just so self-confident in that. And so when you come from, rather than fear, and you come from love and love and compassion, there's a whole different way. And now we'll read the passage again. Hopefully this will make more sense, like you can actually put it all together for yourself. One of the most important choices I make is a choice not to fear. Instead of being fearful, hesitant, self-doubting, or uncertain, look at all those low frequency emotions. I choose to be confident, determined, self-assured, and unafraid. I know the strength is a state of mind, and I choose to be strong. Strength is a state of mind. So is when I was working really hard not to say the word difficult, like this is so difficult. That's a state of mind. One of the reasons I didn't want to use that word is because I didn't want to be in a state of something being difficult. I wanted it to be challenging, and I can overcome that challenge through solution oriented thinking. So that's how you can do it. I hope this has been helpful for you. I love you so very, very mucho. And if this was helpful for you, please share this video. Please let your friends know. I'd really love to grow this channel. I'm more focused on reaching more peeparoos now, and I've opened up my coaching slots. I now have time, and so if you want to work with me, and I hope you do, it would be an honor and a privilege to be by your side as you learned how to excel in times of change and to find success in every single area of your life. And I would love to be your life coach. So pick me. I'm amazing. Always in the description, I have my pricing. I have the programs that I offer and the pricing for them. And in there, I also have the 30 days free. So the self-talk app, you can get Dr. Shad Helmstedter's app. It's not mine, it's his. And from the Self-Talk Institute. And so I'd love any comments. I absolutely love if this meant something to you. I'd love to hear that. I've gotten a few more recently, and kiddos, for you, those of you who have commented, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It helps me to know I'm on the right track, and it feels so good to read something where I have given value, because I don't just sit here to hear myself speak. I sit here because I've learned a lot and I want to share what I've learned. And you don't have to believe everything that I say. Please don't. Do your own homework, create your own beliefs, you rewire your brain with the programs that you want. But please do believe this. Please do allow me to rewire, program your brain through the mirror neurons of you being here and hearing me every day. You were born with unlimited promise and potential, and then you got programmed. You are absolutely, all of that perfection, that potential, all of that is still there, and it's just covered up with programs that do not serve you. They are counterproductive. They can be harmful. They sabotage you, and you're saying, "What's wrong with me?" Your programs. It's not. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just your programs are negative, and 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 they do not help you. So that uncertainty, that not really not knowing where your purpose is and where you're going and all of that, if you can just hone in on that, you have how many days? Like till the end of the year, 37 days left. So I mean, and it's not a race. It's just get intentional. Get intentional about it. Get intentional about choosing to not live in fear, and choosing to live in love and compassion, and choosing to have your purpose, understanding what your purpose is, moving towards that, and choose to live with fear, understanding that it's just, that's planet Earth, and it's a very low frequency, and you don't have to participate in it. No one outside of you is, if you're looking for something outside of you to save you, you're looking in the wrong place. And this is why a lot of people, that's the comparitis and all those very low frequency things. You're looking for someone, to save you from debt, or to save you from yourself, or to save you, from something bad happening, or any of those things. It's really you take control of your life, and you'll start seeing how empowered and how courageous and how it feels so good, especially when you learn to set goals and do it right and focus on what you want, not what you don't. And your life, you start spiraling up, and you'll be able to see those that are spiraling down, because they're the ones who are living in fear. And those who live in fear live in a very low frequency, and you can see it. And it's where you do want to create boundaries. As much as you can love them from a distance, it really is from a distance, because you want to surround yourself with peeparoos who lift you and support you and admire you and want only the best for you, all that's highest and best, and you want the same for them. Those are the people that you want to surround yourself, and you want to surround others with that. It's beautiful. Very, very powerful. I love you so very, very much. You can do, be, change, have, create absolutely anything. Yes, I believe in you. You can do it. And that's a story. That's a story. You can do absolutely anything. So, as always, shining my light to brighten yours. And we'll see you tomorrow. Wait, let's see what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 25th. So, ooh, let me see. Yeah, I think tomorrow, we'll talk about the tool that can change your brain and really help. And I'm not talking about the app, although of course that can change your brain, the self-talk. I'm talking about a different tool. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. I love you so very much, and see you later. Ciao.